Good morning, everyone. I got a chance to film in the morning for once. We're going to talk about One Piece chapter 1087, probably the craziest chapter to date, and I've been saying that for like 15 chapters now. Battleship Bags is the title of this chapter, and it carries quite a heavy significance. We are immediately brought over to Naval Base G1, which I believe is Old Marineford. Don't quote me, right? Maybe it's the new, like where Hachinosu sits, but anyways, we get the reveal of like Garp's training regimen from Admiral Brand New. I think he's an admiral. No, Vice Admiral Brand New, and he's telling this to Django and Full Body, talking about how Garp used to literally just punch a bunch of like marine ships until they were just caved in completely. And the Aokiji at some point joined him to do so. There are two battleships next to each other with their hulls caved in. Beautiful stuff. This chapter really changed the way I view the relationship between pirates and Marines, and now I'm just kind of like looking at them as people making decisions. I'm not on the pirate side and I'm not on the Marine side. I never really liked the Marines before, considering Marineford and everything before that, like especially like in Nami's village with like Nizumi and all that. But now I'm over here like, Marines, please prevail. Justice, please prevail. And I'm just going to condense the chapter really quick, because what I want to focus on this video actually is not Garp or Aokiji, but rather the development of Koby. So, in this chapter, essentially what happens in a nutshell is Garp, Helmeppo, Groose, and Koby are left on Hachinosu. They are facing with their backs basically towards the coast, while the rest of the onslaught of the Blackbeard pirates try to envelop them. Garp is soloing all of them, quite literally. At the start of the chapter, we see him literally throw San Juan Wolf into the ocean. Kaput. They have to fish him out. However, so they figure that out. Koby gets tricked by a woman of the Blackbeard pirates pretending to be in distress. This causes Garp to notice a disturbance in the air. That air disturbance turns out to be Shiryu, and we figure that out right as he stabs Garp directly through the stomach. And I mean, first of all, the size comparison of sword to body is massive. It's not like Squard and Whitebeard. This is actually much worse. This is a much smaller person getting stabbed by a much larger sword. And Garp is a massive man. I think he's like 8 feet tall. So already that, bam, that hits, it hurts. I don't even want to like think about Garp dying yet, because I like Garp too much. So Koby starts to feel really bad about this, and he's like, Garp, you were protecting me. And Garp is like, don't flatter yourself, kid. They were after me the whole time. And it's revealed Garp has a 3-crown bounty with 3 crowns equating to 3 billion berries. That's fine. I think he's worth a lot more, but that's okay, because the Cross Guild can't just be footing so many bills. I doubt they have all of those funds available at the moment. So that's a story for another day. But after that, we get a bunch of flashbacks between Kuzan and Garp, and that's very important because it shows the nature of their fragile relationship, especially now that they're fighting each other on opposing sides. Kuzan approached Garp a long time ago because he learned everything he could from all the other teachers. Maybe Zephyr is one of those people, but it's really not that big of an illusion. People like harped on that too much. They need to calm down, right? Aokiji is finally like accepted by Garp, and Garp starts like lamenting to him like his life as they're training and all that, and it kind of pisses Kuzan off. Later on, Kuzan becomes an admiral, and now he has no more time for Garp, and Garp, is always trying to hang out with him. So the relationship flips. Now the relationship is completely broken, as the last thing we see from Kuzan and Garp in this chapter is, I'm done with you, my boneheaded pupil. And Kuzan says, you have a habit of raising enemies. And it's, it's brutal, because earlier in the chapter, Garp is lamenting, like, my son wants to be a pirate, or my son is a revolutionary, my grandson wants to be a pirate. And Kuzan's like, what the fuck are you telling me, dude? And Kuzan dons a move he calls Ice Glove, and Garp just hockey coats a fist, and they punch each other in the face, and what looks like a Conqueror's Clash happens. An explosion, Garp is thrown back. At the end of the chapter, Avalo Pizarro now makes his move. He starts talking about, look, Blackbeard this, Blackbeard that on the newspapers. I'm tired of hearing about it. now we're going to hear about the fourth captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, Avalo Pizarro, crushing a bunch of young rising stars in the Navy hero Garp. And then he starts to quite literally make an island hand, and using his island fruit, he makes a move to crush Garp's ship. That looks really bad. And at the very end of the chapter, Garp tells Koby not to lose his head because justice will prevail. And there are some other things in the chapter, like Vasco shot shooting fire liquor at Garp, and Garp holding two pirates and just like letting them burn alive and yeet them and calling it pirate jack-o'-lanterns. Like a very freewheel type combat like his grandson Luffy. And now we kind of understand how Luffy had understood and like viewed the world as something to mold to his, fighting style, because Garp does the same thing. But on to what I want to talk about for the remainder of this video. Koby's development has been treated very tenderly. We first meet him on Alvida's ship. At the end of that little saga, Luffy lets him punch him in the face so that he can be accepted into the Marines, because what quicker way to be accepted into the Marines than punching a pirate, right? Then, we see him at the end of Water 7. He's a completely different man. He's changed. He's been trained by Garp. He's had all of his abilities, tested, and he's gained the 6 powers. Then, from there, we see him at Marineford, where he has a very, very intense moment with Akainu and Shanks, where he yells at Akainu saying that we look like idiots just murdering helpless pirates. He also developed a type of observation haki. The only person we've seen with that outside of Koby is Fujitora, where you can see people's emotions with your observation haki. But all of that doesn't really matter to me now, because Koby became the hero of the Marines, right? Like the new hero of the Marines, like back in Dressrosa, it was revealed when he helped out during the Rocky Port incident. Even as far as having Blackbeard thank him in person for helping him for that situation. Now, the crazy part about this is that you would think that Koby had learned enough to not fall for cheap tricks. And maybe it's a testament to his character, willing to see the good in people. But you're on Hachinosu and everyone left, and you're falling for one damsel in distress, and look what happened. You got Garp stabbed. I don't believe that Garp actually was telling Koby the truth. I think he actually knew Koby was about to get straight murdered, and getting Garp stabbed through the stomach instead is much better than having Koby, who is only worth a couple stars, 5 stars at the most, which is a lot, 5 million berries, but you got Garp, the hero of the Marines, the guy who at Marineford punched Marco in the face and sat down in Akainu's chair, the guy at Marineford who literally had to be held down by Sengoku so that Akainu would not die. Okay, we know now for a fact he would have killed Akainu, but what we have now instead is an injured Garp laying on his back. Kuzan is still around. It's not like he's a non-factor. He just got blown away. He'll be back to finish the job, mark my words. And if it's not him, it's going to be Vasco, and if it's not Vasco, it's going to be Shiryu, who started this, okay? And what bothers me is, how is Koby going to fall for that, right? How are you going to be so Chad-like that in the anime, you are picking up a giant missile and diverting it from a ship, but you can't see an obvious trick when it's there? It's very triggering. I'm a huge Koby fan, and right now I'm not. And this is why I said I draw the lines between pirates and Marines no more. Like, no longer do I see a difference. I just see people making actions now. And maybe this is what Oda has been trying to do, because now I'm seeing the flip side of Marineford take place, where, a couple hundred pirates, and with peppered throughout them are some pretty strong individuals fighting, beating down on 4 men. And yeah, like, that's messed up, but like Garp, they even say it, you should not have poked the Hachinosu if you didn't want pirates to swarm you. Hachinosu is a pun for beehive and being made full of lead and stuff like that. It's a whole thing. But Avalo Pizarro is right. Why did you come here if you didn't expect to get some blood drawn, right? Garp stabbed clean through the stomach now, laying on his back after a conqueror's clash with Aokiji. Things could not look more bleak. Justice will prevail, my ass. Because what I'm going to venture out to say, and I said this in my last video, which is the critical end thumbnail. Something dark is happening in One Piece. People are dying at a much faster rate than ever before in this story, and I predicted a death within 10 chapters of 1086. It has been one chapter, and Garp has been stabbed through the stomach. So what now? Will we see Garp's death in 1088, 89, 90? Or, is someone going to have to sacrifice themselves for Garp? Helmeppo, Groose, Koby? Probably not Koby, but Helmeppo or Groose don't really deserve to die in my opinion. Helmeppo's had a very, very crazy development, and I like him. Seeing him on the island, I got moved. I was like, you're still here, brother? Good on ya. You grew some balls. But Koby, dude, my brother in Christ, what the fuck are you thinking? And it's just embarrassing, honestly. Like, you're the hero of the Marines and you can't even see a cheap trick when it's there. Like, the girl was practically smiling. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you thought about this chapter. It's a great chapter. Easily the best thing that could have happened after the month wait, right? And the month before that, well, we got that whole Reverie reveal. Like, we know everything that happened now. We know Imu and the Gorosei now. And woo, this chapter affected me more than those chapters because Koby really pissed me off. Anyways, the development of Koby has been treated very well up until this point where it makes me feel like he's learned nothing at all. I've been Merch Hunter Ricky, an angry Merch Hunter Ricky, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day.